Thinner was released in 1996, directed by Tom Holland. After his success with Psycho 2, Child's Play and Fright Night, this Stephen King adaptation was set to be a big hit. Based on the 1984 novel by King, this was the first adaptation of this story. The movie had all the ingredients, as I say, for a big hit, but it fell flat at the box office and disappeared into obscurity. Recently, it's had a Blu-ray re-release, which I've picked up and given another go. Is it a misunderstood gem or simply a poor film? Sam Williamson from Hope Ahead joins me as we look back on this lesser-known movie. Welcome to Beyond Graves and Stars, the horror and sci-fi movie podcast. It's 50 years since release of Carrie, the first adaptation of a Stephen King novel. Join me, Andy, and a different guest each episode as we look at many of the movies based on his work.
Did you weigh yourself?
297.
Billy, you were 297 last week.
It takes some time for these diets to work. For Billy Halleck, life is sweet.
Baby, I gotta rub the Buddha!
Bigger is better.
I hate it when you do that. No, you love it.
And too much is never enough.
Winning!
Dear God, stop eating like that.
I can't help it, Heidi. All I think about is food. But tonight, all of that will change. You killed my daughter, and I curse you. From the best-selling novel by Stephen King comes the new shape of terror. This diet you're on.
What is it? I don't think you like it, Henry. I'm being erased.
Fear the power.
That old gypsy put a curse on me.
It's all your fault if you hadn't hit that old lady.
Beware the danger.
This is getting out of hand. This has been out of hand, and I'm just the guy to put it back.
Believe the curse.
Please, take it off before this goes any further.
I never take it off. Stephen King's Dinner. More terror, less filling.
Sam, thanks for joining me.
Anytime, mate. Happy to be back.
Yeah, first one this year.
Yes, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. Don't know when this will go out. This might go out in June, but for us, it's the first time of 2026. And looking at Stephen King. Now, you've been on several times before, but you're more my what's the word? We call them childhood ruins, man.
Yeah.
And we will be doing more of those. There's more films, loads of those films.
So many more coming out that we're going to look into.
But you're also a Stephen King fan.
Yes, I love Stephen King.
Yeah.
My favourite author.
So have you read much of his stuff, or are you more of the film based?
I've read a lot of his books, and I've also I like the adaptations of them as well.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer that a lot of Stephen King's works work better as mini-series.
Yep, yeah. So you can get more
detail. So you get more detail into them because the lore of Stephen King is just unbelievable.
Yeah. So, but also there's been longer films like, say, Shawshank Redemption and Green Mile, like epic length. But this one, now, when you mentioned we do Thinner, in my mind it was a TV miniseries. I haven't seen it for years, and I think that's because of when it came out, 1996. And around the same time as Tommyknockers, which is the same director, and then you had The Stand, and not too long after it, and things like that. So that's why I got confused, I think. But it's a 90-minute movie. Have you read the book, Story?
No, I've not read the book. It's a short story, and it's penned under a different pseudonym name, because back at the time, Stephen King's publishers wanted him to... the industry standard was one book a year.
Yeah.
And Stephen King was like, I don't want to do that. So he just went under a pen name, Richard
Bachman,
where he wrote Rage,
Running Man,
Thinner, and it's not commonly it is a Stephen King film. It is penned as Stephen King now, but
when it came
back
out.
then it was
Yeah, no, it's one that I don't think I've read the book of, but it's got to the stage now where I'm not that old, but I'm mid-40s, and I can't remember what I've read when I saw. But I honestly don't think I have. The one that sticks out for me reading was Pet Sematary. But do you remember when you first saw it and how that came about?
I remember it was actually quite recently that I saw it. A few years ago, I was just flicking through films on the Sky Go app.
Oh yeah,
and I just saw this thing, Stephen King's Thinner, so I thought I'd check it out, and I thought that's actually quite a good body horror movie.
Yeah, for me it was. I went for a stage 10, 15 years ago, maybe a little longer, of picking up like second-hand DVDs and getting hold of lots of Stephen King's work, and that's when I first picked this one up. I couldn't find it, so it's just been re-released on Blu-ray, so I've got that, which we've just watched. And we'll go through the basic premise, shall we? It's and a beast lawyer finds he's trying to lose weight, and he's your typical stereotypical lawyer who to win a case he'll support the bad guy. He'll do what he's got to do.
He's very motivated by the money and the money side of things.
He's not an out and out villain, but he's out for himself, and he's not the nicest guy. He's a family man. He loves his daughter. He loves his wife, but he gets involved in an accident where he kills a lady. And I'm trying to get the correct terms for this, because this film has dated quite a bit in the nearly 30s.
It's as of its time.
So how should we refer to it? The Travellers or?
I think Travellers is the.
There's a word that is a slur now, but is used a lot in this movie and different types of it. But it's 30 years old, and it does show, and this film is good at that, people's racism in a way, and that's the point. But I don't want to use these words on a podcast that should be listened. Everybody should be able to listen to.
It's an inclusive podcast. We don't want to be using all these.
I've made this mistake before, but only in talking about older things. So we'll say Travellers, and he's there's nothing. I've got to be careful how I say it. His wife, while driving, performs an act on him,
a sexual act, in the car, shall we say?
Which is something that happens a lot in films of this era. If you've seen the movie Parenthood with Steve Martin, the same thing happens, and he runs over this lady, and she dies. And being a lawyer, he's friends with judges and things like that, and he actually gets off a murder or manslaughter charge. It would have been manslaughter, wouldn't it?
It would have been a manslaughter charge.
But he gets off that, and then on the way out of the hearing, so to speak, the trial, the father of the lady puts a curse on him. The king of
he's referred to as the king of the community.
And he touches him and just says the word thinner, and then he starts to lose weight rapidly, and other people who helped him get off this murder have curses put on them as well. And shall we leave it there? And then we can talk about it, because I will have said before, watched the film before, but we don't want to just retell it. We just want to talk about it as a film. And the point of these podcasts as well is they are adaptations, but we're reviewing them as films and what we think of them as a movie. And this is one that, no one says it's terrible, but it sort of gets average reviews. It didn't do well when it came out. It's
a very middle of the road adaptation of Stephen King.
It's how it's perceived. And I think, as I said at the beginning, it's because it's lumped in with these TV ones. And at the time, was it 96? So other Stephen King adaptations around the time, it's not long after Shawshank. It's a little before Green Mile.
I think Green Mile was
99,
2000.
So this was, I think people were, obviously since the 70s, since Carrie, people have been interested in Stephen King adaptations, but at this point they weren't wanting the horror so much, they want the drama side of it. And also this was around the time of Carrie 2, the Carrie 2 deranged, and sort of what are considered lower brow ones. So I think this kind of it came out and people didn't really care. But this is especially one I think people should look back on, especially when you look at the people behind it. Obviously, it's an adaptation of Stephen King. It's directed and co-written by Tom Holland, not the Tom Holland from Spider-Man.
I'm
obviously.
pretty sure he was a baby back then.
yeah, might not have even been born. But Tom Holland, who's done Stephen King TV stuff, but probably most well known for Fright Night and directing the original Child's Play, and kind of a horror icon really, and a movie I love that he wrote, or two I love that he wrote actually, Class of 1984, which great early Michael J. Fox in that one, and a film that took me forever to watch because I thought I wouldn't like it but now love it, Psycho 2. Yeah. He wrote that as well, which is an amazing film. So I'd say this is a director of quality over quantity because he hasn't done that much, and I'm surprised his name's not plastered all over it more. And there's no actual mega star in it either, which might have been a reason.
Well, the original Stephen King's choice to play the lead role in this was actually John Candy.
Okay, that I could see that really working. But that would have been, he'd have died a couple of years before. Yeah, and I think I've a fair bit about John Candy. I've read a book on him and love his work. I think he'd have loved to have done this because he began to resent being the jolly fat man in his life, and I think this would have that would have been so cool.
It would have added an extra depth to his work.
Yeah, and it probably been more critically acclaimed as well.
Yes, it would have got more eyes on the project. For sure.
But it does star Robert John Blake, who I thought I hadn't heard of, but his body of work is quite immense. If you look on Letterboxd, he's got 60 film credits. Included things like Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, Tombstone, Limitless. He was in the latest Black Panther movie. But what I'll probably know him from, and it is a film I tried to delete from my mind, is RoboCop 3.
Yes.
He played RoboCop in RoboCop 3. But saying that, you wouldn't have really seen him as himself in that. Much like you don't much in this, do you? Because he's under a lot of prosthetics, and the makeup looks amazing.
It is an incredible makeup. They wanted to do like more gruesome FX makeup. We had his flesh dangling off and his protruding jaw and cheekbones, but they decided it was too horrific to film for the time.
Yeah. If you look at the poster, it sort of implies that happens, or one of the posters of it. But yeah, it's in the 90s. You had a lot of movies, and around this time, early 2000s as well, where the joke was that's make an actor look fat.
Yeah,
which is something you wouldn't do now, really. But we had things like The Nutty Professor, and later Shallow Hal.
Yeah, that's early 2000s. To early 2000s.
Yeah, which they're kind of nasty comedies, really.
Yeah.
And with The Nutty Professor, it looked great, but I love the original 1960s version of Nutty Professor with Jerry Lewis, and they didn't need to rely on him being fat. They had him as a nerd type character. But in this movie, it's essential for the plot, and whatever actor plays them, unless they seriously damage their health and it's filmed over a long time, they need to either make themselves look fatter somehow or make themselves look thinner somehow for the role.
The Christian Bale approach.
Yes, yeah. God, if he'd have played it, that would have been...
God, a remake starring Christian Bale would be something. I'd worry about the guy's health.
Yeah, I worry about the guy's physical and other health. Have you seen the footage on the Terminator set?
Yes.
But an outstanding actor, and he could have done this well. But I think the performance is good in this. But just going back to the makeup, the detail is fantastic. It's like when he loses the weight, you see the saggy skin and that sort of thing, and it's hard to tell when he's actually, or if you actually have him without any makeup in that film at all.
Yeah, well, he did lose 20 pounds to play the role.
Okay, so he put the work in.
Yeah, he's definitely put the work in for it. And depending on the character's deterioration, he would spend up to 4 to 6 hours each day in the makeup chair getting the prosthetics.
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of work went into this, and looking at it now, you can tell it's a cinema release. You know, it's a bit of a Mandela effect for me that it wasn't. But saying that, I don't know whether it got a big cinema release worldwide. Looks like it did, but it's certainly one that I don't remember coming out. It would have come out in 97. I'd have been 16. And you'd think this would be in my mind, a big memory for me, or one that I'd have either gone to see or tried to go and see. I wouldn't have been, because it wasn't 18 when it came out. It's 15 now in this country, so I wouldn't have legally been able to see it in the cinema. But but there's other well-known actors in it. Michael Constantine, who has been in so much as well. Probably most well known to people for the Big Greek Fat Wedding films.
Yes.
And then you've got Lucinda Jenny, who was the wife, who looks really familiar. And she's another one. She's in like Rain Man, Practical Magic, Matinee, which is a great a movie from the director of Gremlins, G.I. Jane. She's even in Free From Hell.
Okay.
But also one familiar face, but I couldn't place her in a film. And the only other actor I could really say, oh, that's that guy from, is Joe Mantegna.
Yes.
Martina, sorry, who was Fat Tony in The Simpsons. But he's also been in loads of, known for his gangster roles. Probably his breakthrough role was in The Godfather Part 3.
Another great film.
Another great film as well. Bugsy. And then he's in... Yeah, he does the comedy side of it as well. He's in a few gangster spoofs and stuff. Oh no, I know him from The Three Amigos and Airheads.
Yeah,
he's in both.
Another little fact is he actually narrates the audiobook of Thinner as well.
Oh really? Okay, yeah. That's one I'll have to listen to.
Yeah,
it's weird actually, because I love reading, but I love films more.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but it's finding the time to actually sit there read without distractions. Whereas audiobooks, especially now with whatever you're listening to this on, you can probably find the audiobooks. When I saw Life of Chuck last year, I nearly went out and bought the book and thought I really want to, and then I just thought it will be on, and I listened to it and I loved it, and I found I can focus more on that than a book nowadays. If I'm on a train or whatever, I can put it in and I can still look out the window. And still, whereas with a book, I'm not saying people don't read. You should.
You should definitely read.
I'm not going to do podcasts on Stephen King and go, oh, I don't read. But in this day and age, there's other ways to hear these stories. Joe, how do we say you pronounce it? Joe Mantegna. Yeah, I always get it wrong, and I always end up saying just a stereotypical gangster name.
Yeah.
But he's a great actor. He does his thing really well, which they spoof in The Simpsons.
Yes.
But he's got that. He has got more of a range than that. But when he comes to these characters, he can be funny, but he can also be scary.
Yes.
And in this film, he's probably the darkest role.
Yeah, he's very, very chilling in this role.
Yeah, no, he's a gangster that the lawyer is representing, and also his friend. And then later on in the plot, he becomes, Billy become. He sees his friend and he helps him out.
Yeah, Billy's becoming desperate, so he seeks help from the gangsters.
Yeah, he becomes when he's losing the weight, he becomes bitter, paranoid, and you never actually know, do you, whether his wife is cheating? It's implied.
It's strongly implied towards the end that she is.
But he doesn't say, and then he becomes bitter, and he wants revenge on the travellers for the curse they've put on, and there's the drama in that, and he helps him try to get them to take the curse off, and with all this you've got the other dynamic of Billy's angry at that, and he's angry at his wife and his best friend, who he thinks the wife is having an affair with. There's a lot going on really, but it's packed into a 90 minutes, which I think is the perfect length for this.
Yes.
If anything, it's for what the story is. You could say it's too long, because I said to you during this that this could work as a 30-minute in a anthology movie like Creepshow, but then it could work as like an Outer Limits episode. But because there's more going on, there's more characters, I think 90 minutes is acceptable. Whereas if this was a mini-series or a 3-hour film, I think it would run out of steam.
Yes, yeah.
So I think well done there. But yeah, there's a lot, there's a lot going for this film. It's wrapped up. We've not done much research. We just watched the film and then we're talking about it. And I'm trying to think of more negatives, because I like to get the negatives out of the way and then talk about the positives. But I can't really think of much. I mean, all the cast are good.
Yeah.
It flows well. I mean, say all the cast are good. There's a few minor roles, like there's some doctors who I thought their performances seemed a bit
forced.
Yeah, it seemed a bit not real. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Whereas the rest of it, works. I mean, we've mentioned the what can be seen now as stereotypes and racism.
Yeah, the Travellers are very, very stereotypical of the time.
Yeah,
Kind of cartoony interpretations of that culture.
Yeah, but it does say, are the white characters in this, and they refer to him as white man from town, but is it their perception of this culture? So it's sort of playing on that in a way to show up the white characters for their reaction, which I think, and I imagine that's how Stephen King would have wanted the story. And Stephen King's been writing for a long time. His first books were published in the 70s. And he's always represented race and sexuality and things like that. And he's
a very inclusive author.
He is, and he's if you follow him on X and things like that, you know his views on this. But he has been criticised for his books being firstly very white and very male orientated. But I think as society has evolved, so has he in his writing. So when you see his newer adaptations, they've got of older ones, they've represented that more, and he'd have allowed that or wanted that.
Yeah.
And in his newer books, same. And then there's films from the female point of view that it's not for me to say. Was it Dolores, the one with Kathy Bates in?
Oh, Misery.
No, the other one, Dolores something, which I want to focus on, and I've totally forgotten the second name. But that's basically all female led, right. And the reviews and stuff were great. It didn't do so well, but that shows that he can write for women as well. So or people say he can. As I say, it's not really for me to say, but so I think as a writer, I like his perception of the world, and I think he, as you say, inclusive is the word, but he's often criticised for not being. Yeah. But that, for me, that's more of the times opposed to the actual
content.
Yeah. Dolores Claiborne is what it's called.
Okay.
And it's also got Jennifer Jason Leigh in it. Really good. It's a psychological drama, really, but well worth a watch. And hopefully I'll do an episode on that soon. Because that's one I think really went under the radar when it was released, and it's really good. And the way this film is filmed very well, and it's got that Stephen King small town feel, which I love.
Yes,
and
there's not much to relate it to other Stephen King properties other than the fact that it is based in Maine. You see Maine on one of the posters.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But it has got, like I said, that feel. And I don't know about you. I mean, his films are very American.
Yes.
But I grew up in the UK in a small town. So I can relate, I think, in a way, to the setting. And, sort of everybody knows everybody, which you certainly get in this film, don't you?
It's a very small community.
Yeah. And even things like the fair coming to town. I just knocked my TV remote down. The fair coming to town, which happens in this, was a big thing once a year where I grew up. Yeah. And you get that a lot. And I think all his work is very character driven. And this one is one of those rarities where I'm not sure of, maybe apart from the daughter, there's a likeable character in the whole story, in the whole film. But you still can feel for him.
Yes.
Which is hard to do. Hard to write and hard to represent on film. And for me, Drake done well. I think his performance is good, and as I say, all the leads in it. And if the wife and best friend are having that affair, you don't hate them for it.
Yeah.
In a way, maybe you can see why they do it because of the way he is. She still clearly loves him. She's the one she's
pushing him to get help throughout the whole film.
Throughout the whole film, so is the best friend. But it might be that frustration of he's not helping himself enough. And there's some early scenes where he's weighing himself to lose weight, but then he's stuffing his face as soon as he's done it.
With cakes and pies.
And maybe this is another reason it might have been criticised. Maybe because obesity can be an illness, and more than often is, and people who are big shouldn't be shamed on it because they can't help it. So maybe people thought it was making fun of that. I don't think it is. But when you look at when it came out with the other films we've mentioned, maybe people thought, oh, they're just making fun of overweight people.
Another reason the film was originally delayed for a while was because of the AIDS epidemic at the time. That the studio were worried that people would think that he's losing weight and just get the impression it was down to AIDS, and that they were taking advantage of that situation to promote a film.
Yes, which looking back now, it's the impact of that epidemic was huge.
Yeah,
and nowadays, obviously you can be treated better, and it's, the seriousness of it is easy to forget. So I cannot totally understand that, and that might be why when it did get a release, it didn't get as big a release as they'd intended. Which is a shame, but I can see it. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's a strange one, and it's definitely one that's nearly forgotten, or people think. I was talking to someone the other day, and you're doing Finner, and I was like, yeah, and they're like, okay, I bet that person hadn't seen it for years, or may not have even have seen it, So it's definitely one I want to big up, and don't get me wrong, I wouldn't say it's up there with Carrie and.
It's not an It, and it's not a Shawshank Redemption or a Carrie.
Yeah,
it's an under the radar.
It is a mid-tier King, but a higher mid-tier.
Yeah.
Which I'm going to be talking about some other movies that have been more criticised than this, and but then some of them have been more criticised, like say Maximum Overdrive. But I still think that film gets love.
Yeah.
Whereas this one kind of doesn't.
Yeah.
But also it doesn't get the hate. But it's just like
it's kind of like it's just there, kind of.
Yeah.
But
which is
it's got the fact that it's got a Blu-ray is quite promising, because they wouldn't do it if they didn't think there was going to be a market for it.
That's true, and but it might be because the more recent, even more love for Stephen King with last year we had 4 films out, for example.
Yeah, and then we had Welcome to Derry come out as well.
Yeah, and it's been out for a few years, but everyone now is raving about Mr. Mercedes.
Yeah.
Which I didn't even know was him until recently. I think that's because that's on a streaming thing now. But yeah, there's no extras or anything on the DVD, so Blu-ray. But they've obviously cleaned the quality of the picture up. So maybe there wasn't much for them to put on there, but a commentary from Tom Holland would have been cool.
Yeah.
But he's in his 80s now, so if they hadn't recorded that years ago, he might not be up for it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But interesting. I like that on the back that it says the length of the film. It says 92 minutes 25 seconds. Now that's precise, isn't it?
That's very precise.
Yeah. And just looking at the warning, it says contains strong bloody horror and sex references. There's nothing about sort of cultural stuff.
No.
Which as well, people moan about everyone being too sensitive now. There was no warning at the beginning for appropriation, as I say, and it's gone down to a 15. So not that I'm a stickler for these things, but especially if I had this on a streaming service, it would have that of its time.
Yeah.
And I think it would. It's just that this is a Blu-ray other than. But there's no reason to put people off. They'd be interested, people from other cultures, what they'd think of it. But it really reminded me, with that side of it, of Drag Me to Hell.
Yes.
Which came a fair few years after, probably 10 years after this, didn't it? Was that mid 2000? No, probably
2010.
2010. So early. So,
early 2010s.
Maybe this was a bit of an influence for that. I mean, Sam Raimi and Stephen King know each other, and they admire each other's work. And there's a bit of, I like with all these horror directors, they poke a little bit of fun at each other, don't they?
Yeah.
So maybe that did influence that, but. Yeah, I mean, possibly this could see a remake, but I think nowadays it would be hard to get around that.
Yeah. Who would you cast in a remake of this?
Oh, that's a difficult one. That's well, should I do who I'd cast and who I think they'd cast?
Yeah.
If it was me, you've really put me on the spot. I could see someone like Tom Cruise. As in, I wouldn't pick that, but he'd relish in the role of the change of the character.
He's worn that kind of prosthetics before in Tropic Thunder, and
and I think he'd like it. And if it was Hollywood now, the wife would obviously be Sydney Sweeney.
Probably.
But if it was me though, and it won't, because we saw. So you haven't seen it, but The Housemaid I saw.
Yeah.
I would cast as the wife Amanda Seyfried.
Yeah.
I think she's kind of
Big
age
fan of her.
appropriate
Yeah,
for it.
Big fan of her.
Yeah, good actor. So I'd cast her. And in the lead, that's a difficult one because you want someone sort of mid-40s,
Yeah.
I'd say, who still sort of could, because of this fading, you'd want someone who can bring the audiences in. So I honestly don't know. For that age, maybe someone like Robert Downey Jr.
He would be a good pick.
Because he's had conflict in his life. He can do light-hearted stuff. He can play angry. So yeah, I'm going to go for those two.
Yeah.
Yourself? Who would you cast?
See,
You've obviously thought about this though.
I have thought about it. I have thought about this. I think that if they want to go full practical effects, Christian Bale would be a good pick because he does transform himself for these roles. I also think in a serious acting role, Chris Pratt might be a good pick for it, and same with Glenn Powell.
Yes.
I can see them really getting stuck into something like this. Glenn Powell's a bit on the younger side.
True. But if you had Sweeney as the wife, they've worked together before in a big hit film.
Yeah.
So that would really work. And also with Chris Pratt, he's been criticised in the media, or what people are tabloids really, for his weight loss in the past.
Yes.
So that could work for him, and sort of be a middle finger to
all these critics and
director wise, who would you get in to direct it?
Going back to, I think Sam Raimi would be very good with this.
Oh, Sam Raimi. Has Sam Raimi never done a Stephen King adaptation? Has he?
I don't believe so.
No, that would work.
That would work.
That would be...
His body horror work is just fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, you think Evil Dead and you think Drag Me to Hell. Yeah. Taking that kind of vibe and then going into a body horror film.
Yeah.
I think Sam Raimi would nail this kind of role.
Yeah, and also saying body horror. If they made a darker version of it, David Cronenberg.
Yeah.
Because that's what he's known for.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. But don't get me wrong. I think Tom Holland's a great director.
Oh yeah, fantastic.
And he really catches the Stephen King feel. The way it's shot, the way you see the town, the characters, really, really interesting. And I think as well, you could do this film as another take. You could do it from because this follows Billy.
Yes.
Whereas you could have it from either the Traveller's side and make him more of the villain, which in a way he is, or you could have it from the wife or daughter's point of view and have him coming in and out. So you could do it that way, which I think would be very interesting.
Yeah.
So there's a lot for a simple story. There's a lot going on, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's a real sort of popcorn movie as well as having these serious themes. Because obviously there's the things about prejudice, which is obvious, and then you've got the be careful what you wish for side of it as well.
Yeah, there's a tale of revenge there as well.
Yeah. Trust as well with the people around them, and the fact that when he gets off it's not it is an accident, but it's caused by him, which is different. So he should be punished. But the fact he can so easily get away with
manipulate the system and manage to get off.
Yeah, there's a lot of themes there, which is classic King really, and as well as the whole appreciate what you've got as well. I mean, he's so concerned about losing weight. He's not actually realising that he's got a loving family, he's well off, and he's got a lot to be thankful for.
Yeah.
So there's that. One say about criticisms. One thing I think they could have done a little bit better was emphasise him trying to lose weight a bit more. It's there, but he doesn't seem stressed about it.
No, he's kind of lazy in his attempt to lose weight.
Yeah, and I feel because it is the be careful what you wish for. You should see him wanting to lose weight more, but then like say when he's eating, see a struggle of him not wanting to eat but having to.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean that's just me looking to criticise, which is what most people tend to do when we talk about any film, isn't it nowadays?
Yeah.
But we try not to do that. So quality movie. Anything else you want to add on it? I mean, like I say, I don't want to talk about the ending too much, but it does have a dark ending.
It's left ambiguous kind of ending.
Yeah. Well, the very ending here is, but then it's like, So and
more was filmed, but the test audiences didn't like it.
Yeah.
So
it went even darker.
Yeah.
So but that's the point of a moral tale.
Yeah.
You know, it's your grim fairy tales and that sort
Yeah.
of thing again, isn't it? So shall we rate it out of 5?
Yeah, I'll go out of 5. I'll give it a solid 3.5 out of 5. Just for it's good, but it's top middle tier.
Yeah, this is exactly the rating I'd give it. It's a 3.5 out of 5. But I do feel like with many works of great horror icons, and there's 2 really with Stephen King and Tom Holland, that if this was the same story and the same film done by new up and coming people would have been raving about it.
Yeah.
But there'd have been no expectations. So 3.5 is fair, and you know that's 3 is a good film. 3.5 is that nearly great.
It's nearly mainstream great.
Yeah, so hopefully I'll get you back for some more Stephen King at some point.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely up for it.
But could you off the top of your head tell me your favourite, say 2 Stephen King films, and then one other than this you think's really underrated?
Okay, so my favourite Stephen King films would be The Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah.
Was one of my just favourite films ever.
Yeah.
And the other one, stereotypical, but I really enjoy the remakes of It.
They're
really, I think they're really well done, especially the second one where they've picked the perfect actors for those young kids to grow into.
True, yeah.
And
great casting.
The one that I think is underrated, it gets a lot of love, but I think Misery is quite underrated in terms of you don't hear many people talking about it anymore.
Very true, and that's one that won Oscars as well. At least one, didn't it? Because Kathy Bates got Best Actress. That's one I want to look at. I might do a double episode of that and Stand By Me, because it's both Rob Reiner, who unfortunately is no longer with us, and that's still panning out as we record this, but that looks like that whole tragedy looks like something Stephen King could have written, which is scary.
Deeply sad.
But two great ones there, and there's so much. And you must have done this. You must have sat and watched a film or a TV series, enjoyed it. Then at the end, by Stephen King, you're like, what?
Yeah.
And there's even that series Castle Rock based around the characters which he didn't write. There's a new book out with different horror writers who've doing stories about from the characters of The Stand, which sounds fascinating. Even I've never read The Stand because it just looks too big for me to tackle, but I love both TV versions of that, especially the first one. There's a lot to talk about, and like I say, we'll get you back for something.
Definitely.
Just got to pick the right one.
There's a lot of them. Like I recently just watched The Dark Tower for the first time.
Yeah, and you were a fan of that.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I was watching this film and I was like, oh look, there's this reference to something. Oh, they're talking about The Shining. Oh, there's a massive sign that says Pennywise. There's so much intertwined with it. It's just amazing.
That's one that we could look at, because I've not seen that. I don't know how old that is now. It's probably over 10 years.
That's 2016,
17, so about 10 years old. Because I saw that in the cinema. It's not that old actually, in 4DX.
Yeah.
And for 4DX, it was a good experience. If you don't know, it's the shaky seats and the wind,
the water,
and I enjoyed it. And then I won a Blu-ray of it on a competition on TV. Watched it again once, like in the background, and I remember enjoying it. But I think the main reason it's criticised is there's so many books and they've condensed it.
Yeah.
And I think there's a TV series of it happening now.
That would, like I say at the beginning of the Stephen King's works, I think best as mini-series, so they can just get all the lore in.
Yeah, I mean,
and take their time with the source materials.
I mean, definitely the bigger books.
Yes.
Whereas, like I say, I 100% agree, but I don't think Finner would have worked as a TV series because of that short.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, with ones like that, and I mean, I want to rewatch the mini series of The Shining.
Yeah.
Because I watched it years ago. I think it was on Channel 5, and I didn't dislike it, but I think everyone just loves the film so much, which is why he done it, because he doesn't love the film.
He wanted more of an everyman to kind of play the role of Jack Torrance in that, whereas like. I love Jack Nicholson's portrayal in that film. It's absolutely iconic, but he starts the movie as pretty much insane, and it just gets worse and worse. Yeah. Where it's not, The Shining's not really about that. It's about the general insanity and isolation of an everyman.
Yeah, and there's no real going from nice guy to
I
to
believe Stephen King originally wanted someone like Chris Reeve to
that'd been good.
to portray
Yeah,
that, because he's got the wholesome image of Superman, and then to see this hotel driving him slowly insane and possessions and
that would have been amazing, because poor old Christopher Reeve is like a great actor outside of Superman as well, and not really known for much else. What I'd recommend, John Carpenter's Village of the Damned. He's in that. So,
great film.
Yeah. So we'll better wrap things up. But what's going on with the band? Just tell people.
So we're writing some new songs, and we've got our next show at the Hunters Club in Bury on the 28th of February.
Yeah, that's Hope Ahead.
That is Hope Ahead.
Search Hope Ahead UK is the best way.
Yeah, Hope Ahead UK on all social media.
Yeah, and we'll be back soon to talk. I'll be back soon for more Stephen King. And you're going to be talking with me about more of the childhood ruins.
Yep.
We've got Bambi to talk about, Bambi
do.
the Reckoning, and then we're going to do as well. So I've got to fit them all in. But an episode on the Popeye horror film.
Yes.
I've now seen 2 out of the 3.
I've seen all 3.
Okay, and I've got to say, so far, my favourite, Shiver Me Timbers.
That is a good. That's glorious in so many different ways.
And if you're a horror fan of classics, like you mentioned, Sam Raimi, you'll either love it or hate it, because I've read people who really don't like all the references in it, but I thought it was great. So thanks for joining me.
Anytime.
And we'll get thinking of more Stephen King soon.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Huge thanks to Sam for coming back. Always a pleasure to have him on. Looking forward to doing more episodes, including more of the childhood ruined ones that I do just with Sam. And there's more of those movies coming out soon, so we'll be talking about more of those. We're going to talk about quite a bit. And there's more Stephen King. All this year, I'm going to be doing different Stephen King adaptations, as I said at the beginning of the show. More coming very soon. There's loads of episodes up online already on various other horror franchises, remakes, things like that. Do go back and check them out if you haven't heard them already. Please follow us on the socials, like, follow, subscribe. Those 5-star ratings and stuff really help boost it, and it gets more of an audience, and then we can all get talking more about these movies. I've been Andy. I'll be back very soon. Thank you so much for listening. It's much appreciated.